everyone, welcome to our channel of Nagesh Karasgi Orchid School. My name is Kajal Kulkarni and I am going to teach grade 5 SST. So in our today's episode, we are going to see all about Gandhiji leads the nation. Before that, I will just ask you one question, students. If someone is harassing you or if someone is bullying you, what will you do? You will fight back or you will be calm and quiet? What will you do? Yes, if I am being bullied or someone is harassing me, definitely I will try to fight against that, right? Because it is totally wrong to just be calm and just take what the person is doing. If anybody is harassing, and just be quiet. Yes, let them harass, whatever they want to do, let them do and be quiet. You just keep on taking the things on you. It is totally wrong. But there are two methods in which you can fight back. One is with cool and calm with patience, and the other one is with just fights. Right? So it is all up to you that which method you are choosing. Right? So in this chapter, that is Gandhiji leads the nation. With the name we will come to know that Gandhiji was a person, he was against fight. Right? Only satyagraha, only on the path of satya. Right? You all must have seen the movie Munna Bhai MBBS. Also the other one, I don't remember the name, but it was all on Gandhiji. Yes, it was all on Gandhigiri. You all have seen that. Even though if anybody is really harassing us, you be calm, quiet and just do what work you are doing. That needs a lot and lot of patience. So Gandhiji had lots of patience in him. So today in this chapter we are going to see all about Gandhiji. So let's start. We will start with the chapter. So in this lesson we are going to learn about Gandhiji's contribution to the freedom struggle, the Rowlatt Act and the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, the non-cooperation movement and the civil disobedience movement, the Simon Commission and the demand for Purna Swaraj, World War II and the Quit India movement, Subhash Chandra Bose and the Indian National Army, and how India finally became free. So these are the points that we are going to see in this chapter. So let's start. After returning to India in 1915, Gandhiji traveled to various parts of the country. He wanted to know more about the people. He was shocked by what he saw. Most people were very poor. Social evils like the caste system kept the people divided and backward. Gandhiji was very sad to see that people of low caste were considered untouchables and were treated very badly. He realized that to unify the people of India, the social evils had to be removed. He started working towards this aim. He called the untouchables Harijans, meaning people of God. He quickly won the support and respect of the common people of India. Now, I'll just show you this image, student. This is the image of the people who gathered on the bank of Sabarmati river to hear Gandhiji speaking. Gandhiji was loved by the masses. You can see the number of people who visited Sabarmati river. Here, see these all, they are all people standing here. They all came here to listen, to hear what Gandhiji spoke. Okay? Now, we all know that Gandhiji was in South Africa. He returned India in 1915, and when he returned India and he saw the condition of the country, he took the charge for fighting against the Britishers, for the fight for independence, okay, for freedom. So he took the charge of that. After coming, he traveled to various parts of the country, and he was really very shocked to see that there was a lot of difference, casteism among the people. He was really very shocked that the people were really divided with the social evil, or like casteism, untouchables, and the low caste and the higher caste. So the low caste peoples were considered as untouchable, means people were not even touching them, and if by mistake they came to the place where only the rich people came, or to some other place, there was a lot of procession to do, means the process, not procession, the process of clarifying, means to clear that place, to make it pure. Okay, so such things were going on in India. So Gandhiji was very sad to see this, the difference between the low caste and the high caste. So he thought that really this is really very bad. There should be, he felt that there should be unity among the people. So to remove these social evils, he thought that we should first thing is to unify the people. How to make the people united, how to make everyone united. So he started planning for that, and when he started working on this aim, he called the people untouchables as Harijans. What did he call the untouchables? As Harijans. That means people of God. So he really he quickly won the support and respect of the common people of India. Means he was successful in doing that. He immediately he found that the people were supporting him. He got a lot of support from the people of India. Then came, after that, the Rowlatt Act and the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. You all must have seen, students, the movie of Bhagat Singh. It's really, if you all have not seen, you must watch these movies like Gandhi, then Bhagat Singh, Lokmanya Tilak. All these movies, they will really give you a lot of knowledge about the history. Jhansi Ki Rani Lakshmibai, so many historical movies are shown now, in which you will more deeply come to know about the history, the Indian history. Okay, so now the Rowlatt Act and the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. What was this? You have read that after World War I ended, the British became more harsher towards Indians. They imposed fresh taxes and passed new laws to suppress Indians. This was the time when Gandhiji launched his Satyagraha movement in India. Satyagraha, as you know, is a non-violent method of protest against any form of injustice. In 1919, the British passed new laws called the Rowlatt Acts. Under these laws, they could arrest anyone without a trial. Now, what was this Rowlatt Act? We all read in our previous chapter that after the World War I was over, after it ended, the Britishers became very angry. They became very harsh towards the Indians, and they started imposing more and new fresh taxes on the Indians. Just to take they wanted whatever loss they had faced in the World War I, they just wanted to overcome from that, and they started collecting the amount from the Indians. On seeing this, Gandhiji launched his Satyagraha movement. Now, what is this Satyagraha movement? It is a method of fight, non-violent method. Non-violent means without using any, not even abusive language, not even, he never used any rough language, he never used any arms and ammunitions. He just had he always kept on introducing new movements. So, Gandhiji started with his Satyagraha movement, which was known as non-violent method of protest against any form of injustice by the British. So now, in 1919, the Britishers, they passed one new law. The Britishers, whenever they felt like starting with the new law, they just started and they passed on any law on the Indians, and the Indians had to compulsorily follow. If it was not followed, then the Britishers bait Indians like anything. So they imposed the new law, that was the Rowlatt Act. Now, what was this Rowlatt Act? The Rowlatt Act was in such a way that the people were arrested. Anyone were arrested without any notification, without giving any notice. Anywhere, if they feel like someone is doing something against the British, then just pick them up and put them in the jail. This was all about Rowlatt Act. If they felt like, yes, this person should be beaten, they will just start beating the person without any reason. So this was all about the Rowlatt Act. Gandhiji asked the people to oppose the law. Gandhiji told the people that you have to oppose, not to be afraid of this. Yes, just oppose this law. Demonstrations and meetings were held all over the country. Gandhiji's Satyagraha movement now had millions of followers. On 13th April 1919, a public meeting was held in Jallianwala Bagh in Amritsar. It was attended by about 10,000 men, women and children. On the orders of General Dyer, the British soldiers blocked the only exit from the park and fired for 10 minutes into the unarmed crowd. Thousands were killed or injured. The incident shocked the entire country and also some British. Dyer was forced to resign in March 1920. In July 1920, however, the House of Lords in Britain pardoned Dyer. Now, in this, when the Rowlatt Act was passed, Gandhiji told the people that you just have to oppose. Nobody will favor this act. Nobody will be nobody will say yes. All will oppose. Everyone will oppose. We are against this act. Okay, so many demonstrations and meetings were conducted at different places. Demonstration means like we show some images, pictures, and we give some explanation. If some product, suppose some new product is launched, so we see the advertisement, right? when we look at the advertisement, we come to know that new product is being launched in the market, so we go and buy that product. So similarly, to explain the people of India, many demonstrations and meetings were conducted in many different parts of the country. One of the meeting in Jallianwala Bagh was held. Now Jallianwala Bagh is a place where there is only one entry and one exit, means only one gate, and it is a very small gate from where you can enter also, and from that same gate you have to come out. Exit, for exit you have to use that same gate. So the people were, they had their meeting on 13th April 1919. A public meeting was held in Jallianwala Bagh in Amritsar. The people of Amritsar, Punjab, they had their meeting in Jallianwala Bagh. It was a public meeting wherein this means in this meeting 10,000 people attended the meeting. In that there were men, women as well as children. So many people, 10,000 people were attending this meeting, and suddenly on the orders of General Dyer, one of the British, he was the, we can say he was the in charge of that part. So one of the, on the orders of General Dyer, the British soldiers, what they did, they all surrounded the Jallianwala Bagh, means they all came, they entered the Jallianwala Bagh and they took charge all over the Bagh. All came, stood in circle, and they all started blindly firing. They just fired in the air for 10 minutes. Students, for 10 minutes they kept on firing on that innocent people, innocent children. Those innocent people, they gave their lives. They were killed by these Britishers. They were firing on them for 10 minutes. Here you can see the picture. The General Dyer ordering the massacre at Jallianwala Bagh. See, he is General Dyer. He is commanding the officers that just start firing, and the fire was done for 10 minutes. It was continuously, and the people were running from here and there. Even today there are the marks of the bullet on those walls. There was only one exit, student, and in that Jallianwala Bagh there was one well and the people just rushed and they jumped in the well. Many women with their children, they jumped into that well just to get rid of that firing bullets. They jumped and gave their lives in that well. So just imagine that after that scene, if you get any time a chance to go and have a visit to this place, do visit and see that this place, as we all students really, we all are really very fond of visiting, means going for a world tour. Mostly all of us, we have a feeling that where do you want to go, where do you want to explore. So we will say, yes, I want to go to Switzerland, Paris, London, America. But there are so many historical places in India itself that if you will keep on, means once you will start exploring, you will be getting very much interested, and you will come to know that really in India we are having so many beautiful places. So many places are there which we are not seeing, and we are just interested in foreign countries. In our own nation we have so many places wherein we can explore the thing. And if you really get a chance to visit this Jallianwala Bagh, you can see even today the marks of the bullets on the wall. So just imagine, students, those 10,000 people in Jallianwala Bagh gave their lives. Just, they were so innocent, they were not having any arms, they were not having anything with them. They just had a meeting, they were just fighting against this Britishers, they were against this Rowlatt Act, and so they had a small meeting in Jallianwala Bagh, and in that they had to give their lives. So many people gave their lives, and then we are enjoying our freedom now. So just think over it, students. This Major Dyer, General Major Dyer, he was fired, he was removed, he was forced to resign from the company. They had their company, so he was forced to resign in March 1920. But again in 1920, that is July 1920, he was again pardoned, he was forgived. After killing so many people, he was forgived. Will you forgive anyone this way who has done such a thing? Never. But he was forgiven by their House of Lords in Britain, and he was again made a general. Next is the non-cooperation movement. The shootings and the British government's attitude convinced Gandhiji and the people of India that India must become independent. After this, all shooting means all this, they were shooting the people like, means they were killing the people like anything. They were not having value for the lives of the people. So after all this, after seeing the attitude of British government, Gandhiji and the people of India, they were like, now really we want freedom, we want freedom. So Gandhiji and the people of India, they were convinced that India must become freedom now, means India must become independent, India should get freedom. Okay, so Gandhiji now launched the non-cooperation movement. He asked the people of India not to cooperate with the British. Non-cooperation movement. Gandhiji launched a new movement, and in that movement he guided the people, he informed the people that nobody will support the Britishers, nobody will cooperate with these Britishers, all will be against. So Indians working for the British government resigned, lawyers boycotted the courts, and Indian children were withdrawn from British government schools. Now when Gandhiji told that, and when Gandhiji started with the non-cooperation movement, he told the people not to cooperate with these Britishers. So what the people did, the Indians who are working in British government, who are working in the British office, they all resigned. The lawyers, the Indian lawyers who were in the court, they boycotted the courts. They stopped going to the courts, and the Indian children, all the Indian children who were sent in the British government school, they were also withdrawn, means they were removed. The people, Indians only removed them and were not allowed to go to the schools. Throughout the country, men, women and children sat on the streets and blocked them. They refused to rise even when beaten by the police. In this picture here, peaceful protesters being beaten up by the British troops during the non-cooperation movement. What did the people do? They all left the British councils, okay, British schools, British courts, everything. Then the women's, children, everyone, they set on the roads and they blocked the streets. So on this, the Britishers started beating the people when they refused to get up from the street. When they refused that we will not get up, the people were beaten. Gandhiji was arrested, but the British were soon forced to release him. In 1922, the people participating in the non-cooperation movement in Chauri Chaura in Uttar Pradesh became violent. They set fire to a police station, killing 22 policemen. Gandhiji considered this as a failure of the movement and called it off. He firmly believed that the movement could only succeed if it was non-violent. He was arrested by the British and put in prison. Now here, Gandhiji was arrested, but the British were soon forced to release him. Why he was arrested? Because he was guiding people to not to cooperate with the Britishers, because Gandhiji had started the movement of non-cooperation movement. Okay, so he was arrested by the Britishers, and soon they were forced to release Gandhiji. Now what happened in 1922? The people who had participated in this non-cooperation movement in Chauri Chaura, Uttar Pradesh, they became very violent. They got angry, very angry. See, at some situation, when some point comes, when you just lose your temper, you will lose all your temper, no control on yourself. So similarly, the people in Chauri Chaura, who had participated in this non-cooperation movement, they faced a lot of problem. So in 1922, what did they do? They got very violent, and so they set fire to a police station, and in that police station 22 policemen were killed. Okay, so on this incident, after this incident, Gandhiji means he took over, he called off the movement. He called off the movement, means he stopped that movement. At that place, that situation only, he said that the movement is now stopped. Why? Because he considered that whichever movement he started, it should be done or it is successful only when it is using non-violent methods. Since the people in Chauri Chaura, Uttar Pradesh, they became violent and they burned the police station in which 22 policemen were killed. So Gandhiji thought that this is the failure of the movement, and so he called it off. He called this movement off, means it was stopped. The movement came to an end. And for this, Gandhiji was again arrested and put in the jail. During the non-cooperation movement, many young leaders joined the freedom struggle. Among them were Jawaharlal Nehru, Subhash Chandra Bose and Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad. Who were the one during this non-cooperation movement? It is said that the young leaders, they also joined this freedom struggle, and they were Jawaharlal Nehru, Subhash Chandra Bose and Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad. This is Jawaharlal Nehru with Gandhiji. Did you know Udham Singh, a revolutionary, shot dead Sir Michael O'Dwyer, believing him to be the main person behind the Jallianwala Bagh massacre on 13th March 1940 in London. General Dyer, who had actually carried out the massacre, died earlier in 1927. Udham Singh thought that Sir Michael O'Dwyer was the person behind the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. So he killed this person on 13 March 1940 in London. But who was the one who had done this Jallianwala Bagh, who had led this Jallianwala Bagh massacre? He was General Dyer, who had actually carried out the massacre, and he died early in the year 1927. Okay, so students, I will stop here, and in our next episode we will see about the civil disobedient movement, and we will later move on to the next part of the chapter. Till then, you have to read the chapter, underline the words, and if any doubts, we can have it in our doubt solving session. Till then, thank you.